This conference will now be recorded.
Hey everybody, this is Dr. Doug Smith. It is Monday at 2:30, so it is time for our Monday through Thursday 2:30 podcast. This is a podcast where you will hear the science behind what actually happened in this opioid crisis that was so devastating for so many people. Uh, Alex and I have gotten the first couple of chapters uploaded to the editors. Um, and as I was going through the second chapter, which we just got uploaded, uh, it so much of what our people have gone through is a part of this book, and it's just overwhelming. Um, and as we go through this book, one of the things that's impressive is how rapidly this concept of opioid addiction just dissolves under even the lightest of scrutiny, which, by the way, is now the title of the second chapter, the lightest of scrutinies. And one of the things that just completely falls apart under the lightest of scrutiny, under just casual observation, is what's on the screen in front of you right there. And this is an extremely important document. If you were ever diagnosed with opioid addiction, opioid use disorder, this is the document that resulted in that diagnosis. Okay, this document is from the American Psychiatric Institute, the American Psychiatric Association, APA, and it is a document that's published in DSM-5, Diagnostics of Statistics and Manual of Mental Health Diagnosis, is edition 5, DSM-5. And this is the criteria. This is it. This is the criteria by which opioid addiction, opioid use disorder, this is how the diagnosis is made worldwide. Okay, this is the authoritative document. And here's what I want you to do. Okay, this is what I want you to do. Okay, there's 11 criteria in that document. Okay, there's 11 criteria, and they're all observations. Okay, opioids taken in larger amounts. Okay, there is a persistent desire to cut down on opioids. A great deal of time is spent in activities necessary to obtain opioids. Craving or a strong desire to use opioids. Okay, recurrent opioid use resulting in failure to fulfill a major role. Continued opioid use despite having persistent or recurrent social or interpersonal problems. Important social, occupational, recreational activities are given up. Recurrent opioid use in situations which is physically hazardous. Continued use despite knowledge of having a persistent or recurrent physical or psychological problem. Tolerance, and then withdrawal. And here's what I want you to do. Okay, the psychiatrist, okay, the experts, the mental health experts, okay, they believe that all of our people, they believe that you went out and bought opioids because you were craving to get high. More specifically, they have what's called the brain disease model of addiction, or the dopamine theory of addiction. And this is their big theory of addiction, that all things that are addictive, all drugs that are addictive, when you take them, they cause a surge in dopamine in the reward centers of the brain. And this surge in dopamine in the reward centers of the brain is so fantastic, so euphoric, so nirvana, that it basically hijacks the rest of the brain circuits. And now you just become just a zombie, looking for the next fix, looking for the next fix, looking to get high, looking to get high, looking to get high, looking to get high. That's their theory. Whereas our theory, and what you know is actually true, is that you weren't out there looking to get high. You were looking to not be sick. Okay, so they're saying you're out there looking to buy opioids, looking to take opioids, buying illegal opioids because you wanted to get high. We're saying no. Okay, you were out there buying because you didn't want to be sick. So they're saying you want to take opioids because of a mental health condition. You want to get high, and we're saying you want to take opioids because of a emergency medical condition. The sickness was an emergency medical condition. So you can see that there's two polar opposite reasons why somebody might go out and buy fentanyl. Either you wanted to get high or you didn't want to be sick. Either it was a mental condition or it was a physical condition. Okay, and here's the question. Look at the 11 criteria in front of you. Okay, based upon this criteria, based upon these 11 things, could you tell the difference between why somebody bought fentanyl? Because that's what this boils down to. Based on these 11 criteria, could you tell if somebody was buying fentanyl because they wanted to get high, or could you tell if somebody was buying fentanyl because they didn't want to be sick? And the answer is an overwhelming no. Okay, this document fails at even the most basic of functions. Okay, they're trying to use this, go to the top of the document, find the word diagnosis. They're trying to use this document to give a diagnosis of opioid addiction, opioid use disorder. But see, in medicine, when you give a diagnosis, you have to simultaneously exclude all other possible diagnoses. If you say it's this, then what you're also saying is, well, it can't be that. If you're saying it's pneumonia, then you're also saying it's not lung cancer or a heart attack or a blood clot in the lungs or anything else. When you give a diagnosis, okay, you must have also successfully ruled out everything else. And this document can't do that. The psychiatrist can't do that. That's why I say this document just crumbles. It just falls apart with just the lightest of scrutiny. Can this document tell the difference between somebody that's buying fentanyl to get high and somebody that's buying fentanyl because they don't want to be sick? And the answer is an overwhelming no. And right there, this document has failed. Right there, this document has failed. This document is a failure. And this is what I mean when I say that the diagnosis of opioid addiction, opioid use disorder, whatever you want to call it, it crumbles under the slightest of scrutiny. Okay, this is not a scientific document. This is not a scientific process. And the reason that it's not a scientific process, we talk about this extensively in the book, okay, science has at least modern Popperian science, type science we practice today, Popperian science, it has a thing called a falsification principle. Okay, if you can't say the answer to something is no, then your yes is invalid. It's meaningless. And you can't do that with this document because there's no blood test, there's no x-ray, there's no test whatsoever. Okay, you go to the hospital and you think you've got pneumonia. They're going to do blood work and a chest x-ray. You go to the hospital and you think you've had a heart attack. They're going to do blood work, chest x-ray, maybe a CAT scan. They're going to do an EKG. Okay, you go to the hospital and you think you've had a stroke. They're going to do a CAT scan or an MRI or both. Okay, and those processes give you a yes or no answer. Okay, and that's what authenticates, that's what validates the diagnosis. There's no yes or no answer here. It's just the opinion of the psychiatrist. And in this instance, the opinion was wrong. Okay, our people were not going to buy fentanyl to get high. Our people were going to buy fentanyl to not be sick. The psychiatrist saw them. The psychiatrist saw them buying the fentanyl and said, "Oh, they're opioid addicts. They're buying the fentanyl to get high." No, you idiots. They weren't buying the fentanyl to get high. They were buying the fentanyl to not be sick. You got it wrong. Okay, and this is why we talk extensively in the book that psychiatry is not scientific. Okay, and the diagnosis of opioid use disorder, it's not a diagnosis. Okay, it carries no more scientific impact than your horoscope. And we talk about this extensively in the book. So I'm very excited about the book, and as we go through the process, I'll be bringing you more and more pieces from the book. So I hope that you found this podcast interesting. I hope everybody had a great weekend. Don't forget to like and subscribe to us. Don't forget to post this podcast on your social media and everybody else's social media. Alex, I wonder if I'll be posting these podcasts on Twitter, not on Twitter, but on Reddit, and see what they say about it. But anyway, everybody have a great day, and we will see you back here tomorrow. Thank you.